So what is the Wendler 531 strength program? This is the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. I'm Jerred Moon, and I wanted to dive into this strength program because I know there are a lot of up-and-coming athletes listening to this and people who might be looking for a good strength program. And I don't know if it's not as popular as it once was, but I know when I was coming up in the strength world, Jim Wendler's 531 was the program. And when I started, I was blending multiple modalities, trying to run faster and further and also get stronger. And I asked my friend, I was like, well, what program should I do? Everything I had done up to that point was just straight bodybuilding. And he recommended Jim Wendler's strength program. And I had phenomenal success with that program for a very long time until it became a little bit too much. The volume was too much. I ended up creating my own strength program, one man, one barbell, which I will talk about in another episode. I'm not diving into my strength program, but I want to talk about Jim Wendler's program if you are looking to get strong. Just briefly cover what this program is, how to utilize it. But if you are looking to get strong fast, you want to consider Jim Wendler's 531 program. So let's dive into it. So who is this program for? Well, it's not for beginners and it's not really for professionals. It's really for everyone else. And this is in my opinion. If you're interested in fitness and you kind of want to get toned up, this is not your program. Jim Wendler 531 was designed for real lifters that want to push their own training and their PRs to the next level. So the good about the program, it's very logical, it's predictable, and it's progressive structure. It has a very progressive structure to strength training, meaning progressive overload. So more weight on the bar every single week, for 3 weeks, and then you have a deload week, which we absolutely love at Garage Gym Athlete. I love the building, and then you take down, you come down with a deload. The bad about the program is that there can be potential boredom if you're following cycle after cycle for months on end. Also, in my opinion, if you follow it for too long, you're like trying to do 2 or 3 years of Jim Wendler cycles or Wendler 531 cycles, I think you might end up getting injured if you don't add some diversity to your strength training. But if you really want to get strong, this is it. So each training cycle lasts about 4 weeks, and the rep schemes for each week look like this. Week 1 would be 3 sets of 5 reps. Week 2 would be 3 sets of 3 reps. Week 3 would be 3 sets, 5, a set of 5, a set of 3, and a set of 1. So now you get the full 5-3-1 thing. And then week 4, like I said, is deloading. And it is all progressive in nature, so you'd be getting heavier and heavier as you go through that rep scheme. And that's basically the bulk of the program. After that, there are multiple different ways that you can follow the program. Like that's the base of the Wendler 531 program. But then after the working sets, you typically should add something else because that honestly won't take that long to do. And then after the working sets, you can add your own accessory work or your own conditioning, whatever you want. But typically, if you're really trying to get stronger, you're adding more accessory work. You're doing additional strength training to complement what you've done under the barbell. And typically, you would train 3 or 4 days a week, depending on how you want to get stronger. But going back to kind of the accessories, you can do what he calls boring but big, which is where you do 5 sets of 10 reps of the same exercise. So if I was doing back squat today, I go through my 3 sets of 5 repetitions at the given percentages, which would be 65, 75, and 85% of my 1 rep max. Then after that, take a short break, and then I do 5 sets of 10 reps of the back squat, typically at around 50% of your 1 rep max. So just a lot of volume on the squat, right? But then he has all of these other areas or ways to do it. Like he has a body weight version. The boring but big is one. He has Dave Tate's periodization Bible. He has body weight, and then he's even published other books and methods. So there are a lot of different things that you can do within Wendler 531 to get stronger and stronger. Now, really, how it works best is if you're going to fit it into your life, either 3 or 4 days a week, depending on how much you want to tackle. And you could do it for bench press, parallel squat, so just regular squat or front squat, deadlift, and standing press would be like the 4 lifts I would like. So it's pretty well-rounded in that nature, and you're moving heavy loads. And, typically most people realistically, like 3 days a week is going to be the sweet spot. So if I'm really getting down into like how I would use it today, I would probably do a deadlift and a squat, and I would separate them as much as I could, like squat on Monday, Thursday would be my deadlift day, and then maybe Wednesday or over the weekend, I would hit some sort of press. I typically like standing a strict press over bench press. That's just for me because I lift alone most of the time. But those are really, really solid ways to add it in. Some questions that come up with Wendler 531 is, how does Wendler 531 in conditioning work? Well, Wendler 531 conditioning is composed of 3 days a week of sled work, prowler work, or running hills. So he really likes these high intensity, high power output forms of conditioning. And you never do conditioning the day before lower body lifting. And if you're not accustomed to lifting a lot of volume, you don't start with Wendler 531 and conditioning at the same time. It's something that you have to work up to, especially with how demanding his conditioning recommendations are. And then another question that comes up is, how many cycles should I do? And I say do at least 5 cycles and monitor your progress. If you get stalled, jump back to weights in your second or third cycle, and then do 5 more cycles from there. And so what's really cool about this program is like just seeing the weight on the bar go up. So if you finish the 4-week wave and then you add 5 or 10 pounds to your max lift, like the number you're calculating all your percentage is off of without even testing, you're going to realize, boom, you can lift it again in the next one. And then you'll do another cycle and you can lift it again. And then all of a sudden you max out 6 months later and you are a whole lot stronger. It's a very, very powerful program. Now, the third question is, can I do power cleans, front squats, and other movements as the main lifts of Wendler 531? And the quick answer is no. Jim Wendler recommends using front squats as accessory work and recommends the same with movements like cleans. Now, this doesn't mean it won't work for you, but that is the recommendation from the creator of the program. So really, this is just a straight breakdown of Wendler 531. I'd love feedback if you think that this podcast is helpful, because I'm really just trying to help athletes get more autonomous, help them navigate their journey in the garage gym and their training. And if you just want brute strength, more weight on the barbell, know this: you do not have to train strength every day for the rest of your life. Strength is actually pretty easy to maintain. It really is. But building it is really hard. Maintenance is easy, building is hard. And so doing something like Wendler 531 for a couple of cycles to get your baseline strength much, much higher in a relatively short period of time is awesome. You do that, and then maintenance, you can pretty much be on almost any programming so long as you're seeing barbell movements, you're hitting kettlebell movements, things that are still challenging the resistance trained muscles, you will maintain a lot of that base level strength. And that's something I've noticed as someone who's done cycle after cycle of Wendler 531, then cycle after cycle for years on end of one man, one barbell. And now not really doing that, not really pursuing weight on the bar as much. But when I throw weight on the bar for a front squat or back squat, I'm really not all that much weaker than I was when I was doing these cycles. And so it's really cool to be able to build up that strength and be able to maintain it for long periods of time. But do know this, and this is what I'll end with, and I kind of mentioned it: know what you are getting yourself into, okay? Focus on mobility, focus on nutrition, recovery, all of those things. Do not cheat reps. Do not do any compromised loading positions, because this program, in my opinion, over time has the capability to get you injured. And I don't know if I want to blame that on the 531 program, okay? I'm just saying that focused, targeted, barbell-specific powerlifting work normally leads to injuries. It happens to powerlifters. It happens to people who are just trying to get stronger. So know what you're dealing with. That's why I like to use it, get in, get out. Like, hey, here's a couple cycles of this. Let's get out. Let's do something else. Maintain our strength, but focus on something else. That's my recommendation, because if you are going to pursue it for long periods of time, most everyone I know gets banged up a little. And I'm not talking about, these catastrophic injuries. I'm just talking about a knee thing here, a hip thing there, all these like shoulder thing there, all these kind of things. But this is a phenomenal program when utilized correctly if you want to get stronger. All right, for all of our athletes, if you want to see good programming that isn't necessarily Wendler 5-1, but solid strength programming, go to garagegymathlete.com, sign up for a free trial. We would love to have you, and you can see how our strength works and how well-rounded it actually is, because we do try to, even in long duration programming, keep you injury free. That's it for this